or to cleave to each other in the spirit of so the spirit of revelation. The intention of this pule is to let all be revealed, and the committee is here to listen to each and every one of us and our thoughts regarding the issue of water in this moku of Ko'ola, which is Takanoa, Akane me Kanaloa, the great bowl of Kane and Kanaloa. So to begin, the first people of this land, our ancestors, had an understanding of Great Spirit. We refer to this Great Spirit in the sacred name of Yomakua'ole. And we knew that that name transferred through many different places on the Honua, the globe, and was recognized and acknowledged by other people by other names, of which we came to now call it Ke'aku. So Maikela Inua, Ke'aku, Apona Hiapu, Kauhanitapa, his firstborn child and his sacred spirit. He'akua Ia'oi, He'akua. Onauma tui po aitea. To each and every one of our ancestors that came together time after time after time again. From the continental shelves of Africa, the Americas, Europe, and Asia. And as this cleaving together came to be, we arrived at this place and at this time. So we call out to them, He'afua Ia'oko, Vehe, Komako Mau Ike Maka. Open up our Ike, our knowledge, our skills, to the work that we have to do tonight. Let us step forward in the old people's way of aloha. Be congenial to each and every one of us so that we can make progressive movements forward. The calling for the circle is important because our ancestors had an ideal. And that ideal was called Pono. And in a straight line, from 1 to 10, Pono is 5. In a circle, Pono is in the middle. So you coming from where you coming from, you coming from, you coming from, you coming from. Let's meet in the middle. Okay? Amama uano ano. Mahalo. Aloha, ahi ahi kako. Aloha. On behalf of the Hawaii State Senate and the Committee on Water and Land, I wanted to just say mahalo for welcoming us to your island, for allowing us to come here, and for coming out and spending a few hours of your evening with us. We know there's many places that you could be, many places we could be, but we decided to come here tonight so that we could listen, we could talk, and we could share manao about how we all feel about one of the most important issues that have dominated these islands ever since the ancient Hawaiians came here and ever since Western civilization came to Hawaii, and that's water. Now, right next to water is land. Those are two issues that are our island's history. And so, really appreciate the time you took to come this evening, and we really hope to learn as much as we can. I'll introduce myself first, and then I'll have the rest of my colleagues introduce themselves. My name is Kai Kahele. I'm a state senator. I represent Hilo in the Hawaii State Senate. I've been in the Senate now for 3 years. I'm the chairman of the Committee on Water and Land, and also on the Committee on Ways and Means in the State Senate.
and another time. Thanks, Holly.
Aloha, and thanks for having us here tonight. It's always great to get out and to learn, to listen. Today we had some interesting tours of some of the streams and rivers and some of the folks and the people who live in the region in the Moku. My name is Gil Riviere. I'm a senator from the North Shore of Oahu. I live in the Moku of Waialua, and thanks again for having us here tonight.
Aloha, I'm Clarence Nishihara, and actually I grew up in Makawao. Probably before most of you were born. Anyway, I'm the state senator for the Committee on Public Safety, Intergovernmental, and Military Affairs, as well as being a member of the Wonderland Committee, and I'll sit on Customer Protection, which other issues come up. Anyway, thank you for your honest questions here.
Yeah, I'm Joe Agarand. I'm sorry, I'm a little hoarse. I'm still getting over this cold. I'm the state senator for Central Maui. I'm Kai's vice chair for this committee. I'm also the vice chair of the Ways and Means Committee.
Thank you. I also wanted, obviously they're not here, but one of the reasons why we could come here is because our state senate leadership, led by Senator Ron Kochi, gave us the opportunity to come here. Many of our colleagues wish they could have been here as well as some of the other members of the Waterland Committee. But everyone had other important things to do at the legislature, and fortunately the four of us were able to peel away. So I would be remiss if I didn't thank Senate President Kochi for allowing us to come. I'd also like to introduce Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard's Maui representative that joined us this evening. And so, do you want to introduce yourself? Okay.
Hi. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the senators, and particularly Senator Agarwal, to allow me to be here to listen and learn on behalf of Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard. This is an issue that's very important, and we want to make sure that we support our legislature and support our communities everywhere who love the issue of water and water rights. So thank you, and I'm here to listen. And I just want to clarify, Katie McMillan is our field rep. She's not able to be here tonight. For Maui, I am the former leader.
Thank you. So today we spent most of our day out in East Maui as far as we could go. We had intended to have this meeting down in Kenai, but because there were really no hotels for us to get at the very last minute, we were forced to stay in Kahului, and that would have been a long drive to come back. So we relocated this meeting tonight to Haiku. We understand there was a meeting a few days ago with Mahi Pono last week, and so we just thought this would be a great place for us to gather up. But we did spend half the day on the east side of Maui, and we were with Kyle Makanilua and many others who had a chance to show us some stream diversions and some stream restoration. And I guess in classic East Maui fashion, it was totally pouring down rain today. And I know all four of my colleagues are soaking wet all the way down to our activities. So we're looking forward to a hot shower in a few hours. But we really wanted to spend this time with you. Tomorrow we're spending time in the Central Maui Plain, getting a chance to look at and meet with the Nava'i Hau'ana, meet with the administration of the City County of Maui. Also getting an opportunity to sit down with Mahi Pono and talk further with them and about what their future plans are for the Central Maui Plain. Tonight, we really don't have a concrete set agenda. One of the reasons why is we wanted it to be organic, so we could really hold on and listen to some of the concerns that you have. So what I wanted to do first was give Kiari Lawrence an opportunity to just, update, give us an update on maybe how that meeting went last week and anything else. And then we can give you an opportunity to, I think what's really important is that you understand in terms of legislation and what's happening at the legislature, various different vehicles or bills that are going through and the process that is going through. And so if you have questions on that, and really simple stuff like how can you track a bill, where the bill is now, what can be the process that the bill goes through, and when does the legislature end its current session, and then at the end of that, we want to hear from you. We're really here to listen and to try and understand this issue on East Maui and what the future should look like. So we plan to go till 8 o'clock, and so that gives us about a good hour and 20 minutes to hear from you. What we'll probably do, since there's a lot of people here, if there's people that came from, did we say Kena?
We wanted to give Hana and Kenai people priority.
People that came from Hana or Kenai and you want to speak, we'd like to give you an opportunity first because we know you have to drive back. Haiku?
Same.
I'm not totally familiar with the geography of East Maui, but what we'll do in the interest of time is we'll set a timer, like 3 minutes, if that's reasonable, and you can share your mana'o. When the timer goes off, you can talk for another hour if you want. Just realize that at 8 o'clock the community meeting's over and we gotta go, so you're infringing on someone else's time. So when the timer goes off, if you can summarize your comments, then I think that's a good way to do it. That way I think we can give everyone a chance to share their mana'o who wants to share their mana'o. So, Gary.
Aloha everyone, Tiare. So I recently came on board with Mahi Pono to help them reach out to the community and engage Mahi Pono with the community to learn a lot of the issues, especially around land and water. And so mahalo to Senator Kahele, Senator Alaran, Senator Nishihara, and Senator Revere for coming over. We rarely have these type of opportunities to have leaders from Honolulu, so mahalo, and they definitely got drenched. My panties is wet too, so mahalo for engaging with the community out there and listening to our ohana out in Kenai. And so I just wanted to update where we are as far as the EIS. And so, as you know, Mahi Pono acquired 41,000 acres, and so they're in the process of getting the EIS done. 2 months away from having their draft completed. So part of what came out of in 2016 with HB 2501 is requiring the lessees to have EIS completed. So they're 2 months away from their draft. And then as far as the IIFS is concerned, wanted to let people know where they are as far as meeting the requirements for IIFS. And so last week, Tuesday, there was a meeting at DLNR, and so EMI just got the permits for abandonment out in Kenai, Wailuanui, Pakapipi, and Honopo. So the abandonment permit is to do the work, to do the full restoration. There's 2 more permits needed at the county, so if people in the community can reach out to the mayor and the planning department to expedite that permit, that would be awesome. And then there's also the State Historic Preservation. They have to do their review before EMI can go in and do the final work for the 10 streams that are mandated for full restoration. So that's where that's at as far as it's a lot of that bureaucratic process that is kind of holding up getting all of that work completed. One of the other things was kind of just touching base off of what was said at the Haiku Community Association meeting last week. So Shan wanted me to share what the local commitments are coming from Mahi Pono so far that are full commitments. So one of the things is sorry, blanking out because I never do anything. The commitment is the $2 million straight out the gate is going to go towards infrastructure repairs and maintenance. The intention is to double EMI staff so that they can take care of a lot of the repairs and maintenance needed to help alleviate a lot of the leakage and the wasting of water that's been happening over the years. There's that. They're going to be adopting irrigation technology in an effort to save water, and they're also converting 6,000 acres into cattle ranching in Hamakua district, specifically because in that area you don't need to irrigate the pastures. Yeah, so there's that, and so kind of wanted to just kind of elaborate on what the local communities are so far, where they are at the EIS, and where they are at meeting the IIFS that came out of the recent
Okay, thank you. Okay, then I'll transition into a bill, and not necessarily a bill in particular, but right now we started the legislative session 2019, second week in January, and we go until the first week in May. So I think it's like the 3rd or 4th of May is when the legislature adjourns. Yeah, it's a 60-day session. So right now we are basically in the, if you look at a 4-quarter basketball game, we're in the 2nd quarter. We just finished the 2nd round, I guess you could say, of bills that have all been introduced and have had committee hearings and are about to be heard in their final committees in their respective House and Senate chambers. And then we'll go down to their full House and Senate floors for a floor vote, and then we'll cross over to the other chamber. So that's what I would consider halftime. So we're like just about to finish the 2nd quarter and go into halftime. So we're about the middle of the legislative session. When the bills cross over to the House and the Senate, then we start that process all over again. Bills get assigned to committees, committee chairs schedule bills for hearings, public gets a chance to testify, and those same bills start to move through again. If you look at the total amount of bills that are introduced, they probably numbered 3,000 at the beginning of the legislative session. I'd be lucky to say if there's 1,500 bills left at halftime, and the majority of bills that actually finish the legislative session and get sent to the governor's desk will probably number less than 300. Less than 7-8% of all bills that get introduced at the beginning of the year actually make it to the governor's desk. But when those bills cross over during halftime, then we'll start the 3rd quarter, and then you go to the 4th quarter, and then I like to kind of think about it. We get out of the basketball game and we transition to football, and we're in a 2-minute warning. And the 2-minute warning is what I like to call conference. That's where all bills that have made it through various, both House and Senate chambers, that have made it through all four quarters, then get assigned to a conference committee, and that's where the final negotiations for a bill take place with the subject matter chairs. And if both chairs can come to an agreement on a bill, and the various chambers support those agreements by the committee chairs, then that bill is on its way to the governor's desk. But like I said, that will not happen until the 1st week in May. And so what's really important is if you want to be engaged in the legislative process, the legislative website is actually very, very good. It's very simple. We can provide you that website domain address if you want it. But you can go to the legislative website, you can register, you can set up a profile, username, password. You can put bills that you're interested in a bunch of different issues on your particular profile. And then anytime that bill is scheduled for a hearing, or there's any action on the bill, if there's a new referral, or it crosses over into another chamber, or whatever, you'll get an alert. And so that's a good way for you as the public to stay informed as particular pieces of legislation that affect you or you are interested in, you can follow and you can track. And then you are given the opportunity to submit testimony, because all of the committee chairs and all of the committee members, we take our job very seriously, and we take the time to read through that testimony and to try and find a way forward for various different particular measures. And so that's, if you want that website domain, we can try and bring it up and give it to you later. But that's basically how a bill gets introduced and how it makes it to the end of the legislative session as potentially something that the governor will consider signing into law. I don't think we need to take any questions on that, because we should get into this. So, with that being said, as we go through this, both senators, all 4 of us, Agaran, Senator Nishihara, Revere, and myself, I'm the most junior of the 3. My 3 colleagues have been around a lot longer than myself. Senator Agaran was at one time the DLNR chair in his prior history, so he has a lot of history and a lot of, he's a great subject matter expert in certain fields, and I like to, someone I like to talk to and get information about because of his experience, as well as Senators Nishihara and Revere. So with that being said, Hana, Kianai, Haiku.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's up first?
Anybody from Hana? can I do that? If you gotta head back to that side, we wanna just make sure you get good coverage and get long drive.
I don't think anyone's in a rush to leave.
My name is Mahi Pono, and I'm a descendant of Haiku. That's the middle of Polos. Yeah. And fortunately, I get to be the head of the water, the head of the gate, the start of the flume is at Makati. You know, and we just got back to water 2 years ago. 2 years. And now they want to take it away. That's kind of, it's a deceiving type of government that I cannot understand. Because here's a corporation. It's asking for water. Not a little bit. But the whole darn thing, from what I understand. And that is a hard pill to swallow. You know, we just got it back. The coastal springs is just starting to flow. That sits on the coastline. We have been monitoring it for this past 2 years. And the life has returned. Within Honolulu, within Waihui, it's a hatchery. Waihui is that gathering of waters. That's what it literally means. And it's a hatchery of life that I depend on. My ohana depends on it. Yeah? And I cannot see why is it so hard to comprehend that a corporation is something, purchase the land, and all of a sudden the deal pops up. We've got almost the same identical one in the end. And it's accepted. When the NB had it, it wasn't accepted. Yeah. But they do have an obligation. They do have an obligation to complete that DIS. No matter who owns the properties. They have to cut. That is the only obligation that they have. It does not matter what they're planting or used for. Yeah. And that is the saddest part. They're asking for water without a plan. Well, how are they going to use it? Like again, I am from the Haiku. You know, and my tutus always told me, be quiet. Do not stir up problems. Carry on. But I say not. Today is a whole different environment we live in. It's a whole different expectation that is expected of us, which we have no idea what. But we have the opportunity tonight to at least say a little bit. A little bit that will take us forward, not back. Mahi Pono, they have an obligation also. What is that? I don't know. It seems like nobody knows. What is their obligation? They might say a lot. But in Maui for explaining the legislative process, yeah? To break it down in layman's terms. Just mentioning that, it sends my mind into somewhere else. It is intimidating. But what is not intimidating is a cooperation effort to do what they want today. It's not intimidating. It is something that we need to identify with. Find out what is their long-term goal. They don't have it. I don't think. I haven't seen it. That is the only thing that needs to be put on the table. What are their goals with the IIS done? From there we can go forward. Other than that, Poho. Everything is poho. Because I'm not going to go back what my Pupunas started, the fight on the water. No, I'm not going to go that back. I'm going to take this forward. With the help of all the mindful people who has that opportunity. Right here tonight. But mahalo po kami mga Senator for listening to our concerns. And please use this opportunity in making something different for all. Mahalo.
Concerning EMI, EMI is not irrigation. Come to Haiku and look at the map in Haiku. You get EMI land here, EMI land there, EMI land there, EMI land there, until sell. Who own them after sell? And be selling that. EMI is supposed to be water. Not taking land, watching land and selling, which they have no right to. This is one island. And this island cannot sustain everything that they talk about. Like DLNR. DLNR say lack of fish and whatnot. But yet, there's a history about an island that can be sustained from the mountain to the ocean. You get from Nahiko to Maliko, all plugged up. There's no water coming down to the ocean. And what Diana now said, the fish is deep. Let it go to the water. Can you see the fish come home? Tonight, Diana now says, no lanyard fishing. If you know the Hawaiian law says we have our right to fish. Who gives them the right to tell us how we want to fish? Hawaiian law says kapu. You guys know what means kapu? Kapu said no touch, awole. Kapu meaning when the fish is spawning, you cannot catch it. When a lobster is spawning, you cannot catch it. And we understand that. I'm 83 years old, I understand that. We come with this big government, we come with the federal government, and they say, we get a mug seal, we're going to bring them here. Well, they are not. How come they are now no can say, we get on couple system here? He come from someplace else, eating our fish, and then they are now said, I think we got to make one bag living, but we're not producing that much fish. So why bring one animal, and yet telling us guys, we cannot do this, we cannot do this. This is Hawaiian land, this is not America. And we get rules and regulations. Who protect us? Who protect the thing that we deserve? This is Hawaiian law. And there's a statute in the Hawaiian law state. Yeah, the Hawaiian law. Yeah, American law says, yeah, we're going to revise this law. We're going to revise this law. You can revise them. But does it concern me? I stay with Hawaiian law. Yeah, I say we count a lot. I stand here because many guys say, hey bro, you only talk the talk. But you know what? I walk the walk too. Yeah. Johnny Law put me in jail. Why put me in jail? Because I was clean one Hawaii. White man said, it's a tributary so that the taro down below can get water. Because we're going to haul all this water, but we're going to give you one tributary. But since the plantation closed, they don't clean the Hawaii. So we go clean the Hawaii. And what we get? We get thrown in jail. You guys know what is on Hawaii? When Hawaii is on no man's land, you can farm on one Hawaii. There is water, but that water being taken away from us. And yet, even they take away the water, they put us in jail. But you know what? I got exonerated with prejudice. Because you know, I now get one lawyer. I stood up and asked the question. And the question is, does our Hawaiian law exist? It does. It does. But yet, with the water, the people who like the water never share water. If by any chance I give you the water, we can plant taro. Or in fact, what you guys do. The water is very important. I am not a chemist, but yet I know that the deeds come from there to Hanimali. And when you reach Hanimali, there's a purification plant so they can purify the water so we can drink it. But you know what? From Nahiko to Hanimali, the chemicals they have bring down fresh water. When it hits the ditch, chemicals from Nahiko to Hanimali, chemicals. Now, we're going to take these chemicals in the water and dissect it so that now when it comes out, we can drink them. Please, somebody check on that. I don't think only 2 gallons of chemicals went in there. This whole island, with all this business factor coming in, it's all chemicals. Hawaiians, when they grow stuff, they know how to malama the land. White man come. If no more water, they will take off. To plant, chemicals down. Chemicals down. And what does? We come back in the stores to eat. What we're eating, coming back, chemicals. They said, oh, we got to modify our cesspool. The cesspool was there before the chemicals. But when the chemicals came in, the chemicals beat the cesspool down to the water table. Haiku and Ishmoko, well, that is all chemical. That is not man-made from here, not the Hawaiian. Yeah, man-made from there. Yeah, man-made from there. So, with all of this, all fairness, give back the food that we raised up. And by the taro and the food. I take it. Wow.
Good evening and thank you for coming, Senators. My name is Jeffrey Page. I was a party in both champions of the contested case water hearing in I own property, or I should say I'm caretaking property. None of us really own property. Lower Haiku, immediately adjacent to the Mahi stream. So when the stream dries up there, we have a health department that tells us not to leave tires in our yard or junk cars that breed mosquitoes, but they do nothing about streams that run dry that breed mosquitoes. It makes no sense whatsoever. No sense, no logic to it. The DNLR is supposed to be protecting the environment. They're more concerned with whether somebody puts a sprinkler system in Huelo for fire prevention, than they are rivers being stopped from flowing from the mountain to the ocean. And at the hearings, they asked me, "Are you a biologist?" And I showed them my water bill, and it says, "By water all things find life." Do I need to know any more than that? If you stop the water from going from the mountain to the ocean, aren't you stopping life? Do I need to be a biologist for that? So I ask you now that we know that Maui Pono is going to be given water back. The question is are they going to take it all back from us? But what I want to know, what we really need to know is under what financial terms and conditions is the State Department of Water going to give the water back to them? What are they going to be paying for the use of the water? Because the profits that they can make growing certain types of crops is directly correlated to what they have to pay for the water to grow. So is the public going to know what they have to pay for? Every citizen of Maui County pays a water bill. Yep. Maui County is paying the Department of Water, paying EMI, or whatever the names of the owners are, for that water. Why do we have to pay so much for water? Because the politicians are allowing the water stealers to pay almost nothing to have a lease to take our water. So what kind of demands will you be making on them consistent with if you in fact do extend their lease? The oversight, the DNLR doesn't have enough people working for them to check whether EMI is opening gates or not opening gates. So who checks? We take EMI's word for it. That's the fox guarding the hen house. We don't know what they're really doing up there unless we go up there to check ourselves. So when they do restore streams, does that mean they're going to remove the concrete barriers? Or are we going to rely on them, on their good nature, to open and close the gates on time? One thing needs to be made clear. When the water leases were signed, it was very clear in layman's language. The promise was made originally that downstream users would not be adversely affected. Yep. Well, the facts are that they have been adversely affected. And the facts are that the government has done nothing to stop them from affecting downstream users. They forced us into a lawsuit which has gone on for over 15 years, and they are laughing at us because their costs for attorneys to keep this lawsuit going and to renew their lease on an annual basis with no increase in rent, with no demands on what they have to do to fix all the wasted water. Year after year, they get to continue to steal the water at no extra cost to them except for legal expenses. And those legal expenses are a fraction, a minute fraction of the profits they make from stealing the water. So where are we going to, who's going to protect us? Are our state senators going to make sure that they pay enough for the water that they take? Because if they decide to grow almonds, that takes a certain amount of gallons to grow an almond crop. For cattle, it takes less. They get to choose high yield, high margin crops that take even more, require even more water. So we need it to be made public what the economic deal is with these people. What are they going to be paying for water? But to allow them to continue to extend their leases on a year-by-year basis, or even a 10-year basis. Who gets to extend the lease? Not a grocery store. No store gets to extend the lease with a landlord without negotiating what they pay for it and what the conditions of being the tenant is. And for EMI or Maui Pono, those conditions should be stopping the waste of the water in the system because millions of gallons a day are being wasted. And the way they deal with that is they just take more. That's all. They just take more. So there should be conditions to any lease. And if they violate these conditions, there should be fines in that agreement there. And if all they're doing is giving an extension at the same rates they're paying now, then it's just going to be a continuation of the theft. Thank you.
I represent over 200 individuals, Henry Alamo, and Sarah Uo. Mahalo Center for sharing the day with our brothers and sisters who hosted from Janai, Renui, and Ho'opo. Mahalo to all of the other representatives for your time. I kako'o what Anakala said, what Kakuna said, the way you fight it, educate yourself. Know about the bills going through the legislature, okay? Go online. Senate Bill 829 continues to allow diversions for water without a long-term lease until 2021, 3 years, without an environmental impact statement or any other regulations that are required for long-term water. House Bill 1326 continues to allow diversions of water until 2026, or 10 years, without an EIS. Senate Bill 1116 has no time limit. These are the Mahi Pono bills. Okay? Educate yourself. We need support from all of you. And mahalo for your support and your kopua. Get the word out. Go online, like Senator said. It's an easy process. Submit your testimony. Oppose these bills. There's other bills that are going through. Mighty quick. Mahalo to Lindy Coit and Kalani English, House Bill 1573, Senate Bill 915. These are mighty quick. We need to work on. So let's have the diversions out of these small watershed for commercial purposes. Mahalo Senator Kai ahead. House Bill 848, Senate Bill 915. Needs a little work, but it's mighty quick. Educate yourself. Please pass the word on. That's how we're gonna. What Uncle said is right, but how are we gonna do it? How are you gonna fight the people? You've got to put in your testimony. You have to oppose the bills that are not my country, support those that are. Senator said, we have to wait. We have to find them, right? Which said, we're challenged, but they cross over. They challenge to kill these bills that are not my country and taking away the water, or they want to continue the diversion. Okay? Unfortunately, I think Mahi Pono is bearing the brunt because AMD was supposed to do their environmental impact study like 2 years ago. Now it's coming up on the deadline date, June 2019. That's why they like extend them. Unfortunately, it's the Kunyana. Maybe we should have started the process with EIS. Just educate yourself.
My name, Haiku. So I'm from Haiku. I have a farm out there. It's a family farm. It's been in our family since Kamaya. And I farm cattle. I carry on what my grandparents did in their time. I want to kako what this gentleman had to say. There needs to be accountability. I want to kako what cousin over there had to say, because we have to hold the people accountable. This is a democratic system, government of the people, for the people, by the people. So we the people, that's us. And we gotta do our due diligence. So we gotta get off Facebook, and we gotta get on the legislative side. We gotta get off Twitter and all this other stuff. We gotta dedicate some time to this legislative side every day. Just like every day we should walk with windmills. Every day we should eat vegetables. Every day we should have good food. And every day we gotta hold the system accountable. Kamehameha, in his time, looked at the harbors. He said, oh, okay, so his ship went into a harbor in San Francisco. And they went tax him. And he said, oh, is that how things are done? He never get mad. He got with the program. So when they came into Honolulu Harbor, they taxed them. He said, okay, this is how business is done. So the leadership of our land needs to assure that the proper prices are paid for the benefits that people, foreigners, are receiving. So I'm not going to hit too hard, and I'm not going to hit mean, and I'm not trying to be nasty. But remember, Mahi Pono is kind of like an American company, etc., etc. But they're really fronting for a Canadian employer or employees benefits money-making program for employees. And I'm not against that. But remember, Canadians is foreigners. Okay? So if foreigners are going to come here to do business, super. Pay the money. You got to pay to play. Everybody live here, right? We all pay taxes, right? We pay high cost of living for living here. So they gotta pay too, okay? And we gotta assure that they gotta pay by talking to our legislators, our leaders, our representatives of the people. So, senators, you guys are the only guys that can protect us from these foreign people coming in and not paying their due. Okay? So we need you folks to really take a hard look at these guys and make sure they pay their dues. Now, I'm not mentioning any names, but remember, the flow right now is for big corporations to make plenty money right now. They got all tax breaks. None of us got the tax breaks. None of us see the kind of gains that these guys make. So please, senators, make sure these guys pay their tax. Okay? Wow.
Mahalo for everybody for being here. Nice to see everybody. I was listening and I mahalo my Kako'o cousin for talking about the bills. There are about 5 or 6 bills in the legislature, but I think only 1326 is making headway right now. So the other ones is not getting through. So I think for the senators and for us to be calling our representatives and our senators, they need to be voting for these bills to go through. And I think the difference with all the different bills is the different years, how many years they take them on. I was at the Senate floor at the beginning when Kushi did his speech about the Maui Plains, right? Looking to grow food and looking to feed some of the state's institutions like prisons, schools, what else? Hospitals, right? So his speech was all about growing food in central Maui. But for us, I think we need to. I think the question for us, another question, is that one, what is the plan? Because again, the different types of crops will demand different types of water sources. We don't have a farm plan yet, I don't think. Haven't come true. We need to get an inventory of what is already available before you even come to East Maui. I mean, what kind of wells and groundwater and different resources that you already have in central Maui. We need that inventory before you even come to East Maui. So we're looking at details. We need details. We're not getting any details. So we're hoping that, I mean, if we're gonna inflow our streams, I mean, we want details about what is being taken out, we want those details. So we're demanding details. The community is demanding where's the details, what you like. I think for 100 years, You know, we've been dealing on a plantation mentality. We're not in a plantation anymore. You know, we're at survival mode right now. You know, we've been taking advantage too long already. So I think we deserve that much. We deserve that from our kupuna that gave their lives for that, and we deserve that for our keiki and for their future. Mahalo.
Anybody? It's about 7:20, so we have probably 25 minutes before I want to give each of us a chance to say a few words to summarize.
Steve Slater. I'm concerned about what's going to be grown because I'm very interested in the microbial content of the land. We talk about the Aina, and to me, if we were able to look deep enough, we're on some very special land here. I mean, if we had laws that could look at endangered species and invasive species, what about the microbial level? Why are these plants growing here? What are they going to bring in? You grow almonds? What's that do to the ocean? You're bringing in a whole other set of plants. There's no, I don't know, I'm so frustrated after 30 years of being to meetings like this. It's just, and we're never looking at keeping a healthy environment. It's always got to do with some kind of under the scenes. Why didn't we hear about this purchase? We have a government that spent so much money. It would be, according to my calculations, 5% of the damn rail could have bought this whole thing for us. Why can't our government control this amount of land and water? Why is it up for the highest bidder without any bid? Talk about market economy. Nobody knew about it. Lots of other factions could have got together with senior people and taken care of this. Too many surprises, too many under-the-counter deals. I don't trust her. I have a hard time spending time on the legislative website.
I was the planning commissioner. I was also the vice chair of the general plan advisory committee that put together the Maui Island plan. I'm very concerned about the Canadian investors coming in here and making no presence in this community. We do not know what their real motivations are, short-term or long-term. I sent them emails. They did not respond. They sent those emails around to other members of their group, but did not respond to me, so they got them. I'm concerned that Mahi Pono is a company that's only 2 months old, started in December. It has no track record experience. The company's going to be making many promises, but it refuses to put them on paper. They're talking about no GMOs. They're talking about keeping this land all in ag, that there will be no other development. When asked to put it on paper, they refuse to do that. So I think we need to look very carefully at giving special legislation that will benefit a company, which we know very little. We have an EIS that's out there in draft form. Once it goes to a draft stage, it will be reviewed, and people in this committee will be able to comment on it, and there will be a final EIS. We do not know when that final EIS will be out there or when it will be authorized, approved for the final stage. And that's very critical to be making the decisions that the legislature is being asked to make at this stage. The company has on its land in central Maui many water wells from which it can draw water. It has alternative sources. One of those wells is able to bring up 40 million gallons a day. That's an awful lot of water, and it's capable to do that. So it's not like they have to have this water at least done at this time. And I would urge you to do it. They need to line their reservoirs. They've got 40 plus reservoirs on the plantation. They need to be able to line those to conserve water and not allow it to be wasted. I would urge you, and one last thing, the funds that will eventually be collected as fees for the water, as several people have said, should be much higher than the previous lessees got, and those funds should be used primarily for two purposes. One is restoring the watershed of East Maui, bring it back up to the quality it should be, and secondly, for Hawaiian homelands. The funds are needed there, and I think the law provides that. And lastly, I would urge you to take a look at the bill that you have in front of you already, but has not gone through the review committee. That's SB 915, which covers many of these same points that I've just made. It's a bill already there. You have it in front of you. I would urge you to take a look at it. I think it would accomplish a lot of the things that people have been talking about. Thank you.
Thank you.
But doesn't matter what my last name is. I'm from Kalanai, Maui Hikina, Nala there resides from Hana, Kaupo, Haiku, Kalanai. Like Anakala Shane said, survival mode. How did we reach a time when we're in survival mode? Those two words is not very ridiculous. The water's, it's for everybody. And yet, over the years, too much has been taken from our people, from our lands, from our fishing, from our mountains, from our ocean. How do we expect our younger generations to carry on the ike ku'una of our kupuna if we don't have the necessity to do it? How do we expect our babies to know what pai is, to know what hopai is, to know what kalo is, if we don't have the water to provide us with all of these things? Has anybody seen a huli dive? The most saddest thing our kupuna can watch. Us, we come from families of farmers, cattle farmers. And to watch a huli die, a huli, not just a huli from a kalo, but a huli from our kupuna, 5 generations back now, die because there is no water for it to grow. That right there is Omaha. That right there is genocide. That right there should not have happened. But yes, look, this uncle gotta come all the way up from Haiku for us to even listen. We vote you guys senators into office to protect us, to protect the rights of us, our kupuna, and our kiki. So what are you guys gonna do for us to make sure that we survive, that our plants survive, that our fishes survive, that our babies, the generations after them survive, that everything we stand for as Hawaiians, that our ike ku'una does not die, that it does not go with me, with my mom, with my cousin, with our tutu. How are you going to make sure and promise us that our stuff not going to die because there is no water for our people? What about it? Mahalo.
Like this setup, a whole lot different, than keeps us on the move here. I want to thank the senators for coming out today. Many mahalo, taking us on the phone. I'd like to thank Mr. Agaran. He accepted us in his office yesterday when we went to the Capitol, talked to the legislators about the bill. I put up some information back there on the wall if anybody wants to know. I agree, yes, we need to be educated. We need to be akamai on this and watch what's going on. But this is not just a Maui item. This concerns Hawaii people also. They are also in a bad way. They divert a whole lot of water there. This also, for some reason, are affecting farmers in Kauai. And you got to educate yourself on that too. Because why is that in there? They're going to use that much water. I learned all this yesterday. It's good to know that. But yeah, if you did take a look through the bills, why has the bill been changed 3 times? Went from 7 years to 10 years to, you gotta, when you're looking at these bills, you have to look at those things also and follow them and know how to read them and educate yourself on that too. I didn't want to take up too much time. I think they know senators come down and we see, how our streets are going through and what our community is trying to do out there and kind of impact that with them. So many mahalos for you all and thank you everybody for your help.
Aloha, everyone. I'm from Kauai, but I was born in Hilo, and I know the woman that was just speaking is correct, that the Big Island also has issues. We flew over from Kauai to join you and bring our support. Kauai is also suffering from diversions of our natural stream flow. If our legislators would consider enforcing what is already before them, 17158, HRS 17158 requires the users, those who want to take the water, to perform an environmental impact study. And in that process, alternative sources are supposed to be, by law, considered. The gentleman who said they're sitting on wells, they have groundwater, they can have 40 million a day without diverting streams and robbing the taro farmers. It should be the water users. You know, our state has been working hard, really busting their butt to try to do in-stream flow studies, to try to determine what the stream should have if it's naturally flowing, and what it's left with after they take, studying the stream diversions. It's a mammoth job. We have 16,000 streams in the state. But if we made the users follow the law, 17158, and come to DLNR and come to the legislature. If you read 17158, it's one of the only things you really need to be educated on, in my opinion. It's all in there. It says they have to get legislative approval, they have to get approval from the governor, they have to do the environmental impact study, they have to do conservation use permits, they have to do a watershed plan. And this is as it should be. If they are a small user who can't afford, as Senator Kochi told us recently in a meeting, maybe the state should have a fund for the smaller users to help them meet those standards. But the whole objective is to protect the streams, to keep the biota, to keep the o'opu, to keep the ohai. I know I'm white, but I was born here, and I love the aina.
Aloha mai, I'm and I recently ran for council, but I was also at the Capitol yesterday with Lynn and Lucien here and a few other people from Hawaii as well. And what we noticed first off is that a lot of the legislators do not understand the issue. They don't see feedback from the community. You know, what they see are larger lobbying efforts by farmers unions that, you know, don't really represent the small farmer. And so some of the representatives that I talked to yesterday were like, well, you know, the Farm Bureau's for it. You know, I mean, right, what's the big deal? You know, and when asked, did they know the particulars of it? You know, I understand on their part, it's hard when you have over 1,000+ bills that are flying through your doors, numerous committees. But you know, I think not only is it the responsibility of their staff to help them be informed, but it's also our responsibility, as we were talking about and several other people had said. It is not just us doing our due diligence, but you know, we need to help our legislators also do their due diligence. Because if we remain silent, then the things that have been held up continue to be done to us. You know, and then when we speak up, then people talk about the loud minority, right? They talk about, oh, why now? Why only now you saying something? You know, I mean, because we have remained silent for so long. And so what we need to do is use the voices that we have. You know, we are fortunate that we have people that are willing to come to Maui and listen to us. And so I have chicken skin because I know how the weather was this evening. You know, a lot of you prayed how on the highway was flooding in some parts to come here and, you know, let our senators know. You know, I mean, we can't let another 7 to 10 years forever, you know, for basic enforcement of what we ask of small farmers. You know, how much water are you going to use? What do you grow? You know, I mean, these aren't questions for rocket scientists, you know. I mean, any large corporation that purchases a huge amount of land should already have done their due diligence. You don't just, squirrel away your money and hope for the best, especially if you're a pension fund. And, I think that as bills start to cross over, it is possible to carve out protections for the small farmers, enforce the protections that we already have. And, we shouldn't allow water banking in any form, not dumping, not keeping in other reservoirs and not being used, and then asking for more. Because that's not fair to the community, that's not fair to replenishing streamline or the viola and lily plant. And I think those things need to be taken into consideration.
Hi everyone, my name is Sandy Day. I live in Pueblo. I'm president of the Community Association here I'm a farmer and I'm a researcher. And it's like I know that everyone's good intention to pass bills and say things in the bills like this is going to happen and that's going to happen. But it just ends up being a piece of paper because the people who are supposed to be keeping an eye on things don't have the staff to do that. And so I go to those DLNR meetings, I go to those water commission meetings, and what I hear is misinformation. And there's, it's hard for us guys to fly over there and say, oh, sorry, the truth is actually not what you're being told. It's something else, and I can show you a picture, and I can provide you information, but I have 2 minutes, and, so the reality is, you guys don't get the whole story. The whole story doesn't come to the land board, it doesn't come to the water commission. And we've sat there, these people have sat through meetings for years, and we listen to people like, I just come out and say, they just lie. They just lie about conditions. I'll just give you one little example here. This is a picture, I'll pass it out to the senators. It's a picture of a pipe with water in it. This is a fully restored stream, supposedly. The land board was told, this in November, that this stream, no problem for the fish to migrate in this stream. It was going to be fully restored eventually, but they fixed the problem, the fish can migrate now. This picture was taken about a month and a half ago. No fish can go up this pipe. and when they say, all the streams are being restored and stuff, yeah, kind of part of, some water flows, diversions are still there, there's blockages for the stream line. It's like why people, it's not just water to grow their color, it's water for their life. People used to be able to take their kids and show them where to gather. And, it's like it's dying out because, even with the stream flows returning, some of the flows, it's like they don't go to where they need to go. It's like we're in the middle of a plumbing system. EMI has a plumbing system in East Maui. We need streams, not a plumbing system. So that's what I have to say. And I just hope, how many people here are here because they're concerned that a blank check is being written for the accountability. We need the funds to go in the stewardship fund, and we need to know how much water is in the streams and how much is taken out of the streams. And we really need to take care of what is ours, the public's.
My name is Napua Pueo. I come from Lanai, right in the middle of all of this. And I just want to let you guys know that we will no longer be painted as the victims. It is actually you who are participating in the process of this because you guys have been put on notice for all of the laws that you're breaking, your own U.S. laws, federal laws included. And so we're done being painted as the victims. You guys are going to hold all of the accountability very soon. And I want to let you know that the peoples and the chiefs are coming back and they're going to farm Lo'ikalo, and we're not going to divert all of this water to Central Maui to farm us food. Let's let the water flow where it's supposed to flow. Let's redivert our resources and our people back there, because I think that we have more probability of growing healthy food out there right now at the moment than we do for Central Maui. We need to see a plan. And so when you guys are ready to submit a plan,
We'd love to review it, but until that point in time, we would like our water back, and we will no longer beg and, fight for it. Just, the games are absolutely done. The people are coming back, and we are going to farm Kalo, so please leave us alone. Mahalo nui loa. I was fortunate enough to go to the legislature yesterday with a couple of the manawahine that spoke tonight. What I learned yesterday was that there is a Ni'ihauen Kalo farmer on Hawaii who hand carries his water to his taro patches. And while I thought my story was emotional, telling my extended family of Keanai Waipuadui, I cried at listening to his. They divert 100% of one of their streams, and they produce hydroelectricity for only 1% of what Hawaii uses. So while we have issues here, please consider, senators, Kahele, Rivera, Ugala, is he here? Please consider going to Hawaii and listening to their stories. I'm going to try to share a little bit, even though I repeated this 3 times. I think that this is beneficial because I don't have all of your emails, but let me tell you what we shared yesterday at the legislature. Extending holdover municipal violates the public trust. In Hawaii, water is a public trust resource. The health of native streams and coastal wildlife, traditional customary practices, and domestic water needs are prioritized over private commercial uses of water. Holdover revocable permits are a loophole to get around Hawaii's water protections. These month-to-month permits improperly allow corporations to divert streams for years without protecting our streams. The bailout for A&B, Mahi Pono, extending holdover authority provides a $62 million tax-free gift to A&B for Mahi Pono. In a sale agreement with Mahi Pono, A&B promises Mahi Pono to access 30 million gallons of stream water per day from East Maui, where A&B would pay Mahi Pono $62 million. For decades, A&B drained many East Maui streams, which prevented taro farming, killed native stream ecosystems, and upended communities. East Maui residents sued and won the restoration of several streams in their community. The restoration process is still not complete. Streams drained for electricity. Hawaii Island Utility Cooperative diverts most of the culturally significant waters of Wai'awi Island, producing near 1% of its electricity. This is not sustainable energy. KIUC has had 15 years and already 1 contested case hearing to fix its abuse of temporary permits for this permanent use of stream water, and yet the abuse continues. They mirror our problem at Hawaii. We support improved management of public trust resources and increased accountability. We believe it outrageous and a violation of the public trust to continue wholesale dispositions of water in the absence of accurate data. For 15 years, both A&B and KIUC have dragged their feet on environmental impact statements. Without knowing the impact of these diversions, DLNR continues to allow these companies to divert Hawaii's streams at almost no cost to them. Shorter leases and evaluation that are more closely approximate market rates. The practice of encumbering public trust resources for decades long, commercial uses at a fraction of a penny per millions of gallons should be abolished. The lack of stewardship for thousands of acres in the watersheds of East Maui and Wailua are encumbered by holdover permits has triggered a critical state of environmental degradation.
You guys, aloha. My name is Jocelyn Costa. I'm a descendant of the Kauiwo family from Lower Nahiku. I reside now in Haiku. It's kind of surprising to me that you guys are here because you guys want to know something. Because this has been going on before the war. Yeah, it's nothing new. And yet we still come to the same table and sing the same song. It's what they equate to insanity. Because you think you can get a different result, and then it all starts up again. And probably this young man, that young man back there, this young man's children will be coming and singing the songs again. What I find is a failure, an absence, is accountability. There's a lot of this here, and everybody goes, who's going to protect me? Where's my protection? In the state water code, it says traditional and customary rights of Ahupua'a tenants who who are descendants of Native Hawaiians who inhabited the Hawaii. Are you guys familiar with this, senators? Because that's your job. Okay. Who are descendants of Hawaiians who inhabited the Hawaiian Islands prior to 1778 shall not be, not may not be, shall not be abridged or denied by this chapter. Anything you want to decide as far as permits and EIS and whatever SXs you guys say do, your water code cannot abridge or deny our rights. This chapter cannot do that. Such traditional and customary rights shall include, but not limit to. So we are, sky's the limit here. The cultivation or propagation of taro, that's on this, everybody know that. On one's own kuleana and the gathering of hi'iwai, opai, o'oku, limu, kiwi, aquaport, medicinal plants for subsistency, cultural and religious purposes. So, if this was the law already, why are we even here? That's to now protect the other guys, right? Because we're not singing a different song. And if you don't know it, then why are you getting paid in your position? Where is the accountability? What's missing here is the accountability. If you decide, for some reason, these bills are going to be passed, then you better be putting in some type of amendments in there that will strip them of their permits, strip them of their ability to do business here in our island for at least 10 years. You know the 10 years that they want? In 10 years they cannot. There has to be, not fines. Don't give them one fine for, the amount of water and this and that and whatever. You cut them off from the knee. If they cannot adhere to the law, which you hold us accountable for, then hold them accountable for it. Add something in that would really make a difference, that would save our culture, that would save our island. I'm not going to have my 83-year-old father come and tell you again, that Maukatu Makai. When I come in and I listen to water hearings, they talk about taro, and yes, we talk about taro. But my father asked the question, am I not a farmer? And you know what they asked him, what do you farm? He goes, I fish. The best way is to get all the way to the end user. Don't stop in the middle. All the way to the end user, then you're going to get the full flow. If not, they'll always figure something out in the middle, and then, okay, once you hit the tap pad, we'll go figure something out and take them. No, it's got to go all the way to the end. Clean. We gave you guys the opportunity for use the water clean. Give it back clean. The same way. Our tradition, we never leave stuff hapulu. We always leave it better than what we came with. Better. You guys never delivered that yet. There's nothing better about any of this. It's nothing new. This is the same song. Adhere to the law. Protect what has to be protected. And no more fines. Pull their business. They cannot do business here. At least for the 10 years, or even more, if that's what it takes. Put that in the amendments if these bills were passed.
Probably get time for 3 more. Aloha mai kako. I'm from Lahaina. I just wanted to share this with Manao. There is a system in government right now. I don't know whether or not everybody agrees with it, but it's called the Optimal Council. Okay? Maui and Molokai is taking the lead on this. So I know there was some recommendation passed to this committee
I don't know where it is at this point, but I think it's really important that we have monitors set up in every Ahupua'a using the Ahamoku system to allow for those monitors to be considered as polyUPs to manage the water resources of Maui. I think this would be detrimental statewide as well. I know that some of the organizations are actually putting recommendations to look at the Ahamoku Council system and where is it at. I know the Senate right now feels they're going to be functional or dysfunctional. And I'm going to say this right now, because of the LNR and who they have in office as the executive director, which really ruined it for our islands and our local councils. I took this initiative back in 2008 to walk on thoughts around this island, 197 miles circumference, took us 7 days. But the reason why we did that is to bring the Mokus together, to consider the most important viable resource that we have, and that's us, all of us. I also took the torch around the island in 2012 again, to look at the system of how these waterways in every moku and every Ahupua'a function to benefit the communities of those areas. And I'm talking about the lineal descendants now. They the ones have the key to show how the system basically works. So I just consider, I hope to pass this to this body to really, really look into the Ahamoku system, Act 212. That's what people's bill. Act 288, get rid of it. Peel out that. That allows the governor to intervene in these affairs, turning the executive director against all the local councils throughout the state of Hawaii. It's a good bill. It's implemented. It worked for us in Maui. It's still working for us in Maui. And I encourage everybody in the community to find out who your local representatives are. Jocelyn is one of them. Aloha Smith over here from Kaupo. We have Leona. She's for Hamakua. Who else we get over here?
Donna.
Donna.
Yes.
Oh, right over there. We have more representatives. They are only the voice that speaks on behalf of you. You're too scared to step up to the plate and start speaking for yourself. Use them as a mechanism. Get the word across. Small things.
Akua kena. Olelo kanina onui no kapua pa he aki me o ke me o pono. Ka pono o ka aina. Aino olo ana ka vai. Ai kai. Aloha. Although we point fingers at A and B and EMI, not for crimes that they're going to do. But let's be clear. These are crimes that have already been done. Countryside, by creating a condition by which our people will have to move out of our places where we should live. The environmental crimes which have destroyed whole ecosystems, including the reefs, for over 100 years. Who's going to pay? Who's paying for those crimes that have already been done? So before we talk about future crimes, let's talk about who's going to handle the crimes that have already been done. And let's be clear, as I said, the EMI have been horrific, but they would not have been able to have been done. The crimes that they did were in cohort with the compradors and the politicians. Remember that. The politicians allow these things to happen. The question I ask you, and you should all know, you are responsible now for future crimes. That is on all of you, so-called politicians of this place. But I know, looking at the people, we're no longer going to accept the fraud, the scam, the sham. We know that water belongs to East Maui. We know for sure. And who has the kuleana to determine
If you cannot handle that, you're just a pimp. That's the truth. If you don't believe they don't have the right to say that, you're just an outside pimp. That's all you are. No different than Mauna Kea, Brother Kai. Because we know those are our lands. Without a doubt, those waters belong to those lands. Without a doubt. And I would challenge any politician to show me, in fact, how the state of Hawaii owns those resources, because you see the scam is over. The people are awakened. We see, we know, we read. We are united. Brown, black, purple. We know what is Pono. So that's the question. What is Pono in the end? And what is Pono is to listen to the people. What is Pono is to fix those environmental crimes and cultural crimes that have already gone on. And the only way we do that, of course, the first step we need to do is to figure out exactly what harm has been done so we can next figure out how we can best fix this situation. That is what's Pono. Mahalo.
Okay, well, that's a hard act to follow, as we say. I'm Albert Perez, and I want to focus on something that I think is a myth that is believed by mostly Oahu legislators, and that is that if we don't allow EMI to divert the water from East Maui, the upcountry is not going to have any water. That is totally not true. So our own mayor said in testimony on House Bill 1326 the other day, he said 80% of the water in our upcountry system comes from East Maui. That's true. But only about 20% comes from these lease areas that are the subject of this bill. The rest of it comes from Waikamoe. And in addition to that, our own county Department of Water Supply has wells they can pump. They like the East Maui water because it's cheap, but they don't have to use that. They also, EMI has diversion systems that they can take outside of the lease areas on their own land, where they can get like 50 million gallons a day. So my understanding is that the minimum water amount that A&B has to deliver to Mahi Pono is 30 million gallons a day. Otherwise, A&B has to pay a big fine. Well, too bad for them, but they're going to get the water anyway. Whether you guys pass this bill or not, there's enough water on their own lands to provide that to the system to Mahi Pono. The other thing I want to mention is that 3 years ago, there was this bill that was passed, 2501, and it allowed all these revocable permit holders to continue diverting. I mean, EMI has had, the last lease they had, last 30-year lease they had was more than 30 years ago. So they've been getting year by year revocable permits in the meantime. But so 3 years ago, they were given this opportunity to do their environmental work, and only one of 15 revocable permit holders has actually done that work. One of them, another one, EMI, and A&B has done part of it. They said, okay, we're going to do an EIS, but then they never finished it. The other 13, I want to know what right do they have to just ask for another 7 years or 10 years or anything if they haven't done anything? And why should we expect that they're going to do anything the next time? That's all I have to say. I just want to alert you about the myth that upcountry water is going to be stopped. It is not true. And then I wanted to talk about the 13 and 15 local permit holders that have done nothing, and that is not fair to the people of East Maui.
My name is Kamalani Paukua. I'm from Kianai. I'm a descendant of Ko'olau throughout Maui. I have this olelo no eau, Pu'ali Kalo, Ikawai Ole, taro, for lack of water, grows misshapen. The meaning behind this olero no iao is for the lack of hair, one may become ill. The definition of misshapen is not having the normal or natural shape or form. Synonyms for misshapen are deformed, malformed, distorted, irregular. To take away the water means to take away the carrot, the pollen, which misshapen or distort are people. So the frustration, the emotion is all because of the stealing of water. And that's very clear. I echo everybody, everybody that's shared, their manao on restoring the water, supporting taro farming and the right farming by the right people. I wrote this stuff down so I don't get off track, so I'll stick to my notes. Mahi Pono is, I'm going to say, since we're sharing manao, my manao is, Mahi Pono is a great front for A&B. It's a front for them to act like they're pursuing agriculture, food security, and the speeches have been amazing. I don't know if you guys catch up with those, but it's just another strategy for A&B's friends to bank the water, to fill their development aspirations, right? To fill their development, to fill the Safeway that's coming up, or the mall that's coming up, or their next McKenna development. They're stretching up to Kilkia, they're developing the whole, it's coming. But what's also coming is, the kingdom, because we're tired of participating in this process. We were here 2 years ago. And here we go again. I'm old. This song is getting so old. The frustration is getting stronger, and half the people that should be here aren't even here because they've given up. They've given up coming. They've given up speaking to these meetings. I wish I gave up, but in reality, I'm not giving up. I'm choosing to attack this issue at a different route. So don't laugh when I talk about kingdom coming, because we're here, we're in this room, the hares are in this room, the cattle farmers are in this room, the Lavaita are in this room, not all of them, the Konahiki are in this room. Who owns A&B? We don't even know. We don't see them. Who owns Mahi Pono? I don't know where the hell they are. I've never seen them. They're all investors. Right? Can someone correct me? Am I wrong? Are they investors? Can you buy stock to divert East Maui water? Somebody tell me I'm wrong.
Sounds pretty right to me.
That's what I thought. We don't know who they are. So who are these senators serving? Who are these politicians serving? Who is DLNR serving? I don't see Akana in here, but I know he wishes he could be here. He was arrested for gathering in his own forest, in his own mountain, by DLNR. They took him to court. And then yet, he can't even get EMI to, the accountability is just not there for EMI and A&B, and that is so shady. That they can spend money taking our Kanaka to court for practicing their rights. That is so shady. The EMI staff, I echo what someone said, the EMI staff, I think it was Uncle K.L. who needs to be converted to the rightful Konahiki. Meaning, take away the EMI and give the water rights, give the management back to the Konahiki. There's 4 licensed areas. There should be 3 Konahiki within each of those licensed areas, which is Haiku, Keanai, Honumanu, Huelo. We need to have Waikamoy. We need to have a Lavaita, a farmer, a gatherer. We need to create our own board. Because why the hell are we talking to EMI
asking them for the gatekeepers. It should go to the rightful Punahiki, the rightful Lavaia. And we know they're here. Not hard to find them. Anyway, continuing on about the broken trust. I understand, some people feel it's the right path is to participate in legislation and everything. It's totally correct. But there's other ways. There's other ways to go about this. I know this man doesn't have a computer to make an account and go on and submit testimony. Do you have a computer? Do you have service in your van? I didn't think so. But he's an all-white specialist. He's a Lavaia. He's a hollow farmer. He's sober. He is solid. And he is getting his water back in the means of submitting testimony. He's going to do what he knows best, which is to clean all white, to open lo'i, to take care of his family. Sorry, on the spot. He's not the only one. There's so many more. They're in the bushes. Where we're all from, the bushes. It's hard to come out here and start to There's so much I can say, but I want to be respectful of your time. I know you guys had a long day in East Maui, and I'm glad that you're with some solid people, our ohana. But I just don't want my community to be brainwashed in the sense that you should do this, you should do that. You can figure it out within your na'au, who to support, what route to follow. The state is made upon brainwashing us and almost molding us into thinking this is the way. You have to file for a permit. You have to ask for the keys. You have to talk to so-and-so. Oh, they're not in office. It's like the system is so broken. I just want everybody to know, and I hope you can respect me and my ohana in the means, in the ways that we're going to go about attacking or getting our water back. And it's not blowing up the diversion. We're not doing that. I just mean I need your support in terms of identifying the right lineal descendants to be present throughout our mofu. I'm going to end at that. Mahalo for your time.
This will be our last one. Take the best one.
Everybody, my name is Jason. What's up, Be real, or go home. So listen to everybody, what you get, put in your heart, put in your spirit. But for me, I was here for a while. I think we need to listen. Why you guys know this? Why you guys just no grow down? Why you guys no grow vest Hawaiian medicine? Why you guys just no grow do things all Hawaiian with the water? And then we wouldn't have a problem. Instead of growing things from the mainland, bringing up and stuff, cooking frogs. You know what I mean? Maui is special. For real. I live off the land. I raise my kids off the land. From hospital to the forest. To the vine. Waikamoi, if all you guys want to think, Waikamoi, supply is for island. You guys don't think about the kids out there, no water. So Waikamoi is special. All our rivers is special. So think of us, brother. Think of us like how you think about the phone right now. You concentrate about the phone. You care about us. Yeah? Fine.
You're fine. I'm not laughing.
Okay, so I like serious. Because I'm serious. We all need water, bro. You know what I mean? My family. This is serious. Think about island. You know, I love Maui. Maui. I love them in my heart. Maui supplies food, water, love, and hope. And all you guys just think of how special the island is. The rivers, you know what the reefs, 2 miles offshore. 2 miles, the reef gonna get fresh spring water. Or not life die. They die. 2 miles. That's how far the reef go. The springs. All the wells get over here, the springs, the thing gotta go all the way out there. You know what I mean? Forget the ahe. You know what I mean? Onaga. You know what I mean? The kupipi, kupees. No more life. And you know what? But us guys, we don't need money. You guys need money. We need water. What the fuck we money? We love water. Yeah, so if you're playing here, I swear you. My kid from America. You know what I mean? Kid from America. So if you guys in love what you guys saw today, or can I show you guys? That's the great things they know what they're talking about. Let us run the water shit. Let us take care of water. You guys always automatically get the water. Because the holiday when you do the teacher ready. You know what I mean? People, let us run them. Let us take care of them. I live right by White Maui, right there I live. Every day I gotta come down. Yeah, I go to jail because the holiday. He come over there, he get more right than me. He come over there, he broke my spring water. You know what? I slapped his head. What? Jail. 5 years. For real. I didn't get out. For real, no bullshit. For water I fight. And I'm gonna fight you, I lie. I don't give a shit. But you know what? I get good cousins. You know what? We all fighting right now. All us Hawaiians right here. You see all these guys? We all fucking scrapping each other right now. We scrapping each other. It's not. We scrapping them. Cousin, everybody, we scrap. This past week, you know, we're talking about water costs. And it's so easy for control. Right, right. Let the elders do the thing. They get them. They never die yet. No more on the turn. We fall in line. We just want to shit. It's so simple to control. But you know what? 100 years ago, the gun will take away our water. But then today, now we get young cousins. I get my cousins, they're all educated. But you know what? They need me for the team. But you know what? I support the team because they're smart. So we coming. Whether you like it or not, we coming. We'll take back our water. And we're going to give the water to you guys. We're going to give the water. Promise. We're going to give back the water. Because you know why? Because we're going to give you more than you guys are taking. Promise. More than you guys are taking. We're going to give them. You know why? Because the love will pour out of the fucking, all of the wells. Right now, I make you a nice water crisp fast. Unreal. And you know what? I'm giving them all away. Because you know what? I don't go the thing with the people in jail. The water just shoot. If you like me, check me out. I'll show you the pictures, bro. No bullshit. Better than you trip me took it today. Better than you trip me took today, I take you. I show you. Me, I hammer the body. I give them away. I make a spring for the guys who drink. All over our island, they come. Get some spring water, drinking water. Why? Because I bring them down to the water for them. Nobody grab them. But yeah, if you just work with us, bro, you know what I mean? Help us. If you can do, listen, you too. Yeah, you can help us. We all can work together, bro. Big time. No go work with the rich guys. Them, they only come kill, steal, and destroy. But us, we come, we give love. So you like work with love, or you like work with kill, and destroy? Go ahead. Because bro, I get brothers over here, they're ready for run the pen. The watershed, take care of water. The guys that live in the valley should take care of water. Not the guy coming from America. You crazy. But then if you like help us, bro, we need you to help us. I mean, I'm not going to cry right now. I cry on my life. But you know what? I like cry right now. One of you can save us, bro. You can save us. So if you like, come take one out of trip where you know the kind of the payroll time. But we don't give you money. You know what I mean? Come cruise for 1 week. We show you what is love. Love for the water, brother. All my life, Haiku. Tonight, I'm going to come. See all my brothers and sisters over here. Ask you how. So, our water is righteous. It's taken away from generations. Too long already. Our only, the water is out there. Our only, this will stay in California. Being a whole now. But my cousins, you know, sore my heart. All my life, my heart sore. My people's heart sore. I'm a practitioner. Awesome. I need opportunity for my people, culture. A lot of respect. When I say, oh, cousin, we go. Wait. Anyway, they're not talking about me and my culture. Let me show you the why. You guys up there, practitioners, senators, the people, we're crying out for help. We need help. We need you guys to go against the rich people. Why should stay in our war? Here, our war, yeah. Not very long. The people who I see all they 4, 5 stuff, they go gather. And they took these spots. The practitioners all behind me and all around me. They all know what's there. We ain't telling nobody. You guys is the ones that make the difference. And you guys is the one that created this mess. You guys need to take care of your guys' fully on, which is your guys' mess. And make it right within you guys. Because you know what? Somewhere over here, and the people, the white man, who thinks like us, and know our heart, can live as Kanakas. Can live the way we live, be practitioners, raise our families. We cannot give out love if we don't get love back. But anyway, I just wanted to share because I feel my cousin, he's not one person to come up and speak with anybody. And I'm here for him. And I'm here for all the other people who cannot speak, all my people. They cannot speak. You know, for hundreds of years, they don't speak. And that's why I say now, you know, I'm a practitioner. And I'm well known. And I know my rights. And I go by my rights. And now I'm teaching the young generations to know their rights so they can go safely into the mountains and gather and practice the Native Hawaiian rights. Thank you all.
Thank you guys so much. To wrap this up, what I want to do is just give each of our colleagues, Senators Revere, Agron, myself, just a few minutes to offer someone out what you heard and how you think we might be moving forward. And then I want to end the evening on a note with Atala was going to do with us today because everybody can go home safely tonight. So with that being said, Senator Revere.
Mahalo to everybody who came out tonight and who spoke, showed compassion. I'm with you folks. I mean, I didn't hear a single person deviate from the message. When the bill came up 3 years ago to continue the diversions, I was a loud, outspoken opponent of allowing the diversions to continue without the license. I will be there again speaking against that. So I believe that everything that was said tonight, I take to heart, feel very strongly that we've got to do the right thing. And so I'm not trying to make too much of a deal of that, but I'm feeling it tonight, and I'm just like to know I'm there for you guys. And appreciate the hospitality that you've given all of us, and hopefully the entire legislature can vote in the right way and come up with some legislation that does the right thing. So thank you all.
Thank you all for coming out and putting them out. Stated what's the problem that we have. I think I've said a number of committees and we've heard the problems. We didn't hear the kind of passion and the kind of accuracy that people speak about. I think having gone to going out there and between the streets. And he gave us a better idea of what you guys are facing. And I think that it's something we can take back. So when we go back to Haiku, and like someone said, we don't really get to understand it. We on Oahu, we don't have the same type of experience. So sad. But there's truly been an outreach need to learn all of what you have to say. And I will certainly take it back when we go back. And when the committee meets, I'm sure Senator Fahili and the rest of us will certainly take it to heart to what you have to say. So thank you again.
Let me just echo what everyone else has said. I think it's been very good to have all of you come here because we know that not everybody can come to Oahu. Not everybody, even as someone said, takes the time to be thinking of a place that they want to come and talk to us. I really appreciate the time that you guys took out tonight to come here. It's not done yet. I think, but the House dealing with the bill tomorrow. We won't know tomorrow what the House position is on the bill. And then at that point, Kai has to decide whether he wants to hear it when it comes over. So we appreciate the time you took out. And, please continue to be in touch with us. Well,
Echoes the same thing my colleague said, and I have notes on my phone, so I can make sure I hit some points I want to cover. But thank you guys all for coming out. Thank you for your passion. The same passion you experienced is the same passion I experienced last year when I tried to find a balance on Maui. And that wasn't easy. And I was one guy standing out there by myself, getting DAs thrown at me and Uluwaikas thrown at me in every community across this state. But it's not easy to try and find a balance and trying to find a solution for 100 years of mistrust and just broken trust.
Even though if this bill go through whatever, you know what I mean. What you should do is come back and help us better the next one. The next one we need to make a goal. You know what I mean?
But thank you guys all for coming. There's a couple of things that I want to touch on. So information is really, really important. We gotta play in the world that we live in today, and so having the most accurate information in terms of this issue is critical. There's a great document that OHA put out, Ola Ipavai. If you want it, it'll be up, you take your email, just give it to her, or you leave tonight. We'll email it to you. It's a fantastic, really easy to read document done by Dr. Pua Scrope, who is one of the top, if not one of the best individuals in the state that understands this water issue inside and out. And it's basically her entire life's work into this. So Ola Ikabai will give you a good understanding for what we're dealing with. Prior to the 1978 or prior to the 1970s, the water was really controlled by the plantations on all islands. My island, your island, Hawaii, Molokai. It wasn't until the early 1970s when a landmark case, McBride versus Robinson, was a landmark case led by Justice William Richardson of the Hawaii Supreme Court that for the first time started to define the public trust used for water. Because of that, the 1978 Constitutional Convention, it passed Article 11 of the state's constitution that further defined water rights. And it took almost 10 years for the state legislature to pass Hawaii Revised Statutes 174. One of the ladies tonight talked about Chapter 171. Very important chapter, because it deals with how we manage the state's public lands. Well, Chapter 174 is the state's water code. That was passed in the mid-1980s. And that governs how water dispositions are utilized throughout the state. You have groundwater, aquifers, you have surface water. your streams. Those are the two types of water usages that you can have, right? You can pump a well, or you can utilize stream water for various water uses. The current law allows the state's Commission on Water Resource Management. They are the body that's entrusted with executing the state's water code. All of this is in Ola Ikawai, and I encourage all of you to read it, because that's the rules that we gotta play by. Part of the reason I think we're in this today is because, and I hate to throw any particular agency on the bus, but DLNR and Seaworm should have solved this issue a long time ago. They should have dealt with this years ago. And we at the legislature now are faced with making tough decisions to try and find a balance in how we utilize the state's water resources. In this particular bill, or this particular issue, doesn't just affect Maui. Like what gentleman said, there are 15 essential applicants, but some applicants are multiple applicants. So at the end of the day, there are 7 Hawaii Island water users, 1 water user, if you count A&B and EMI as one entity on this island, 4 users on Hawaii. So the legislation that's we're looking at the state legislature affects water users across this state. 7 users on my island, 4 users on Hawaii, and this island. So it's not just the East Maui, it's not just the Maui water bill. What we need to do as a legislature is try to find a balance between how water is used throughout the state. Now, like we talked about, I hate kicking the can down the road, and that's not what I want to do. Every single one of these water users, whether they're big or small, should have a water permit or a long-term water disposition, whatever that term of that is. In order to do that, you should do an environmental assessment or an environmental impact study, which is what some of the users are trying to do now, and that's mandated in the state's water code. So the issue we're dealing with now is how do we find a balance between these 12 to 15 applicants and their opportunity to do an EA, to do an EIS, so we can determine how they should get a water permit for the long term. So it's not, I just want to emphasize, it's not just Maui. This affects 7 Hawaii Island farmers and ranchers. It affects Hawaii Electric. It affects Department of Hawaiian Homelands on the island of Hawaii. It affects farmers and ranchers on Hawaii. So that's what we're trying to balance. And one of the reasons we came here tonight was to do exactly that. To hear from you guys.
You only heard the tip of the iceberg, just FYI. 10 people speaking for 3 minutes. Barely covers it. It's one drop of the issue. Everybody shared Mana'o, but the depth and the complexity of the issues on the largest watershed on the island that could be the breadbasket for the state of Hawaii needs a lot more attention than 3 minutes on 10 people.
Thank you. All right. I want to thank for coming. I apologize if I introduced you earlier. If I missed any other elected officials, thank you for coming as well.
Hawaii leaseholders are not affected, that's a wrong fact. We discussed that.
I want you to.
When we met with Mahi Pono, I was very clear with Mahi Pono when we met with them, when they came to the legislature. I emphasized to them how important it was to communicate with the community. How important it was to have a farm plan and to share that farm plan with the community.
Where's the plan?
How important it was to contemplate Mauka Tumakai restoration, to look at new technologies to preserve the water resources so we don't have water that is being wasted, to look at restoring stream flows, to look at improving the water system, finding the reservoirs, putting gauges so that we can ensure that the water is being used for everybody. And so I'd like to emphasize to Keale to take that back to Mahi Pono, and I know I will tomorrow as well, to continue these conversations with the community and to present more information. Because we really need to turn a new page in how we manage our water resources here in Hawaii. And if Mahi Pono wants to be part of our community and part of this community, then you really need to do that. So we're going to emphasize it.
You should tell them that since if you feel like I think this is very important, you should tell them that they gotta hold up on what they're doing. They gotta show us. You know what I mean? And if they come without us knowing that they slept a bit.
So please keep in mind that they are funded by a pension fund, and the purpose of a pension fund is to return the greatest amount of profit to the pension holders. That's who wants to take our water. People who want the greatest return on their investment. And the way they will get that is by paying the least amount they have to for the water, and by not covenanting that they will not develop the island or use pesticides. That's how they'll get the greatest return.
Thank you.
How are you going to vote?
Kekule kako, please. So let's all understand that we all came from all over this island of Maui. And with us, we brought all of our ancestors. The ones that we remember their faces, their smiles, and their warnings. The ones that are only shadows in our imaginations. So, join me. Kukuru Kumuhana is an old way of fule, where we all come together with one particular idea in mind. And that is to ve kolako wau ike maka, to open our senators' ike, so that they can find the hardest way possible to serve the best interests of all of us. So hea akua ia akua. Launa tui poa I te au. Eia no ko kogo pura e. Here we are, your descendants. O mana ia mako. Give us your power, your strength. O ulu ia mako. Inspire us to carry this forward. Aloha aku ia kako pakahia pau. Have affection towards each and every one of us. And aia wake au, ya hema akau, ka apuni ia wahi. There is the roads that go left and right, and all around this island. Hanaka ai ka awale mā mua ia mau ala. Cut the paths in front of us. Mali no ke kahia na mai, so that we may arrive safely in our homes. Mahalo, aloha.
Mahalo.